I Something happened to me today that I have to tell. I have to say something. I have to let people know. I recently moved to a new city, and me and my daughter started going to a church in our old area. So we moved here in March. Since then, I haven't had a chance to find us a new church to go to. So I went online and I looked up a couple, and I saw one that I really felt would be good for us. So today we went for our first service. My daughter went back to children's church, and I went and sat. I was all alone, and I'm already anxious in a crowd full of people I don't know. I shouldn't have been so anxious in a church, but the world we live in nowadays, you never know what can happen anywhere. So I was sitting alone. People kept coming to me, introducing themselves to me, asking my name. And this church started off with 3 songs. And when we got to the end of the third one, this lady walked up to me while they were singing, and she said, "Excuse me, what is your name?" And I said, "My name is Courtney." And she said, "I had to come over here because I felt like the Lord was going to throw me in the floor if I didn't." And she said, "He asked me to come over here and pray for you." Because she said, "I can see a wall you have built up between you and fully giving yourself to God." And she said, "That wall is shaking, and I can see the bricks falling." And she said, "God is asking me to pray for you so that you can fully give yourself to Him." And here recently, I have been struggling with fully giving myself to God. I don't give my worries to Him. I'm anxious all the time. I worry all the time. And I feel bad because I don't fully give myself to God, because I worry myself. I have to take anxiety medicine from worrying all the time. And I feel like she was telling me that God's going to knock that wall down so that I can fully give myself to Him and not worry as much anymore. And I started crying like I am now. But it was an ugly cry. But I started crying. And she said, "I know this may be strange or weird because you don't know me." I said, "It's not strange, and I needed to hear it. And I thank you so much for coming over here and doing what the Lord asked you to do." And towards the end of the service, the preacher asked if anybody wanted to rededicate themselves to God, and I felt like the whole service he was speaking to me. So he said to raise your hand if you want to rededicate yourself to Jesus and the Lord. And I raised my hand, and immediately I felt a hand on my back, and it was the sweetest older lady praying behind me. And it felt so good. It just felt like a calmness came over me. And she was praying for me, and then once we got done praying, she asked me if I give my life to Jesus, and I did. And she was telling me how proud of me she is and how they want me to be a part of their family. And then they asked if anybody wanted to come up. If you did give your life to God, come up to the front and people will pray over you and pray for your worries and your anxiety, and everything he was saying was coming straight from me. So I knew I needed to go up there, but I was too anxious still because I don't know these people. And I'm just one of those people who doesn't do good around people they don't know. Like, I can be friends, I can be friendly, but I don't open up unless I really know you. But the lady that I met when I first got there walked up to me and she said, "Would you like to pray about anything?" And I said, "Yeah, there's a couple of things." And she was like, "You want to go up here with me?" So she walked me up there, and she guided me up there, and we got on our knees. And another lady walked up to me while another guy put his hand on my back and began to pray over me. And the lady was asking me what I needed to pray for. She said, "Who do you want to forgive?" I said, "I need to start forgiving myself. I need to forgive people in my life who've done me wrong. But I want to forgive myself for doing myself wrong, for holding grudges, for holding myself back from the Lord." And she prayed over me that my anxiety would be removed and that I could be closer to God. And she prayed for any demons that are on me that want to hold me back from getting to the Lord, who put anxiety or make me anxious. She prayed that they would leave me alone. And I just want to say that this church, I don't even know these people. This is the first time I've ever been there. First time I met these people. For them to have that much love for me without even knowing me, to help me get back to God, really felt good. I just had to talk about that because I haven't stopped thinking about it since that lady told me earlier that she had a vision of Mary sitting at Jesus' feet and me being forgiven for anything. No matter what I think it is that I think I'm not going to get forgiven for, I'm going to be forgiven. And I can get closer to God if I really want to. I just have to knock that wall down and not be so anxious. And give all my worries to Him and all that stuff. I just felt like I needed to talk about that in case there's anybody else who needed to hear it. If you go where you belong, which I feel like I belong at this church because I've been praying for weeks now for God to guide me where He wants me to go. Please help me find a church to go to around here so that I can get closer to Him. And I found this place. It seemed good. And like I said, I was nervous, but as soon as I walked in, people were, "Oh, it's so good to have you here." Just, being the sweetest people I've ever met. And I just felt good there. I felt good with my child going back to children's church. I didn't feel like anything would happen to her. I just had like a calm feeling when I walked in the building. But when a room starts filling up, I do get anxious. But everybody is just so happy and friendly, and the preacher was good. The sermon he preached was good. I definitely will be going back there every Sunday, unless I'm sick or something, because I need to get closer to the Lord. I want to get closer to the Lord. I want to set a good example for my child. I don't know who these people are. I don't even remember their names because I met so many people. But for them to walk up to me because the Lord's speaking through them to me was such a beautiful thing. And praise God for everything He's given me. Praise God for every trial I've been through, everything bad I've been through, and everything good I've been through. Praise God, because our lives aren't going to be perfect. We're not going to be perfect. But I want to walk that narrow path. It's going to be a hard walk, but I want to walk there. And I want to make it to be able to hug Jesus when I die. Or when the rapture happens, I want to go to heaven. I do not want to stay here. I want to spend eternity in a beautiful place where there's no more sickness, no pain, no nothing. And I want to be with my family. So I pray that my family, if they haven't already, which most of them have, get on the right path so that we can all be together. But I just had to speak about what happened to me today. It was beautiful, and it felt really good.